Okie-dokie. Okay, you're live.
Welcome, everyone. This is the Anson Library, one of our adult programs. We're here at the Leavitt House. Tommy Allen has graciously agreed to be our tour guide this afternoon. Claire is going to help him as well. So here we are. We're ready to start.
Welcome to come in.
All right. Thank you, Tommy. Did Steve disappear?
He's behind the door.
Okay. You can say hello to everybody, Steve.
Hello, everyone, and welcome.
We want everybody to get a good look at the Leavitt House, all of the exhibits that we have here. And so we're just going to start right on.
Well,
Tommy's going to share.
I'm going to give you the guided tour here.
Sounds
And,
wonderful.
Steve's going to be in the background there, so when I get it wrong, he'll correct
Okay.
me.
Job will be
Okay.
easy then.
Okay.
We're in the lobby here right now. And we have several ways set up in here. It's kind of divided up. We have rooms for this, rooms for that, so forth and so on. But because of space, we sometimes just have to put things where we can put them. And such as this picture here, which is the old Carolina Female College that was built in Anson, right prior to the Civil War, and stood there for 100 years almost. It's not there anymore, but it's a female college for ladies.
We have one of those. We have one of these at the library, graciously was given to
Teach
us.
them the proper way of life.
Yes, wonderful,
And all.
wonderful.
And this is a Wakesboro room. We're going to go in here first. This, everything in here is about Wakesboro High School. And the reason we have a Wakesboro High School room is one of the gentlemen that was responsible for acquiring this building for the Historical Society. He loved Wakesboro High School.
Is that Hank Wall?
His name was Hank Wall.
Yes.
We have
We have a picture, Caroline, get that picture of Hank over there. That's very good. He did
good
that.
picture. You know, I don't know who did that.
That
I
is good.
probably could look close to it and see. But I just think all along. And he was a great promoter of Wakesboro High School. And so a lot of stuff all the stuff in here has been donated by graduates of Wakesboro High School. And there's a lot of history in here over the last X number of years.
Right.
And we have a collection over here of Wakesboro High School yearbooks dating back
Awesome.
from the very first yearbook, 1922. The school started in 1921. In 1922, they had their first yearbook. We've taken all of these yearbooks and shipped them up to Chapel Hill.
That is wonderful.
And
It
now
is.
you can go online.
We've
to the Heritage
enjoyed
Center.
some of
Oh,
that,
yeah.
Tommy.
Now you can go online and see who was in the 1932 class of Wakesboro High School. And it's very interesting to go back and see those people. Very interesting. And we're going to do some more of that. We're collecting other, and we did it for Anson High School too. And we're going to do their other high schools in the county, Morgan High School.
That's
And we've
great.
collected some of those yearbooks already. And we hope to make a shipment before the end of the year.
Keeping history alive where people can
And-
access
yeah.
it. That is great.
And we're going to take that heritage book you have over there.
We're counting on it.
Well, I'm going to hand deliver that and take it up there to, first of all, be photographed as it is. And then we're going to take it over and have some work done on it, have it restored too. So,
That'd be great.
I hope that happens by the end of this year. We're 2 years behind on this project, all of the virus and the COVID and all the mess and all that.
So many things
So,
happening. Now, where the bell, where did that?
we believe that bell came from Wakesboro High School, as did the eagle over there. I believe that's an owl. That was over the door, the main entrance to the high school. And of course, we know that the high school burned down in the 1980s. But this piece right here is right over as a precast piece right over the main entrance there of the high school. And how they salvaged that, I do not know.
That was great that they could do that.
Yeah.
And you have it here. My goodness, this is marvelous.
But we have a couple of our volunteers that have spent some time in here, Catherine Emery, McLeod, in the last several months through the summer, collecting stuff. Again, if we had a bigger room, we had more stuff, but we had some stuff in boxes and stores.
It looks good. Caroline, did you get a look at this?
And we have a lot of the graduates come back here and want to spend some time doing some research here. So just walk into this room, it's a room of a lot of memories.
Going back in time, isn't it?
Sure is. Well, it's all in. We're going to have a section soon, well, maybe the next year or so. Yeah, that's the way the mail used to be. Every community in this county have mailbox. Post office. Many of them are located in general stores around, just like Derek's post office here. They were located all over the county. This one came from the P section, we believe. And so you got your mail and other things there. We're going to have eventually have a section about manufacturing. That's the county will manufacture. We process cotton and make cloth. Made different things. That's some of them. We've got a few pictures there, but we'll have a lot more. I'm just not sure. This is a telephone set. This is where you picked up the phone and said, Sarah, connect me to such and such. These were located all around the county. Most of them were in private homes. And usually the lady of the house operated the switchboard here. And she could connect you to other places in the county. This would come from the 20s, early 20s, maybe. And she could connect you to the outside world too. But it cost you when you made a call outside. And this little area right here, you can see what appears to be a lot of toys. And this came from the Tom Willie collection. A lot of this, Mr. Little here was an avid person of history. He was an avid veteran, traveled all over the world, visited Rotary clubs all over the world, from Africa to England, Canada, to all over the place. And he collected most of these are what we would say are old many toys. Cute.
That's a wonderful collection.
But some of these are salesman samples too. Because they sold plows and such. And so instead of bringing a big plow in to show the customer, they would have a small sample and say, how many of these do you need? And then they would ship them in on the railroad down here and deliver them that way. I'm going to redo this. That everywhere you see a dot or a pin is where Mr. Louis is.
Oh, okay.
And this room here is our Indian artifact. We got a grant here a couple of years ago to redo this room, and all the, well, I'll say arrowheads, but they call them points really. All of these are from Anson County. Everything you see in this room, all these arrowheads.
I think you all did a great job displaying it too, didn't you?
Well,
Just looking good.
we were able to get a grant to have these nice displays built.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
And, these came from 3 families in Anson County, the rabbit collectors. The Haywood and Louise Diggs family has most of these. Fulton Allen family contributed those to us.
I know at one time they offered that collection to the library, but we have no place, to store or display. So
And then this is
it's
Carol
great.
Pratt. Carol and Virginia Pratt donated these. What you see is about half of the collections. We have this many more in storage, but we have to try to have a pretty one that represents it.
Right.
And an interesting thing that I learned, Steve probably learned too, is that these aren't arrowheads that the Indians and early settlers encountered each other with. These came from the ancestors of the American Indians. These were from the people who came over from the Bering Straits, from Asia over to Alaska, and then migrated, and they became the Eskimos and the American Indians, and on into South America, Central America. And if you look at the dates on these, you'll see that they're 12 to 15,000 years old.
Wow.
These arrowheads.
That's something.
By the time the early settlers got here, they figured out how to use little metal arrowheads mostly. But So these are ancient. It's
Yes.
amazing.
The number just astounds me. It just shows me how many people were here for how many years, so many years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Because you didn't just make these 1 minute. This took time. It was very time intensive to make these. And these aren't all, these are the ones that were found.
Oh, yeah.
So
Right.
there are a lot of
I
evidence.
read probably about 5% of all Indian artifacts have been recovered. The rest of
So
them are
there's
still
that
out there.
many still out there too.
If you find the cloud field somewhere you want to do it, maybe find out.
I
But
know,
all
I
of
know,
these
I
came
think,
from Anson County. So remember, 12 to 15,000 years ago, there were people all in Anson County,
right,
but there were Native Americans.
right,
So the-
yes, yes.
So the service settlers came in and pushed them out,
Mhm.
pushed them west, and then brought diseases in them and took them out. The next room over here is kind of the farm room. This is a lot of stuff in here is what you would find on a farm. And blacksmith tools over here, cotton weighing scales over there, more stuff, livestock, tools to work every day, tools to work in the fields out there. Because, 98% of North Carolinians and Ansonians were farmers.
Yeah. Caroline, see if you can get a shot of the homemade rake over there. It is, it's now, Tommy, is this part of Tom?
This is part of the combo collection as well.
Yeah.
But I want to tell you about this thing right here that I'm brought up against.
Okay, Caroline.
When I first saw this the first time, this sign was on it. It says animal pedal power for this. And I thought, no, that's somebody who just had one day here. That's not really what that is. What is it? Well, we started doing some research on it. We actually found out up here that this thing right here is made for large dogs, goats, small donkeys, or any other animal that they could entice to get up
To
here.
get up there and so
Start
it's,
walking.
so it's gonna produce power.
If you notice something on that display, it shows what appears to be another contraption in the front of it. Well, this is it right here. But we had this in another room. We didn't know they went together.
Today, right.
So we moved it in place. This is a churn. So you put your milk in there, you tie it, you hook it to this big round wheel here. And as the goat, if you happen to read that, it'll tell you how much you order for what you want, for a goat or a dog or a small dog.
Is that not
And
amazing?
it will start
That is
rocking.
amazing.
It will start rocking the churn here. And while the lady of the house is doing other things,
The dog
turning
is
the butter
turning
at the same time.
Awesome.
Turning the butter at the same time.
That is really something. That goes back a long way.
Oh, yeah. That's, again, I think the data here is 1884, in 1884. So yeah, it goes back a long time.
It is amazing. It's amazing the ingenuity of people, is it
It
not?
actually works.
How creative they are.
You need to order anything, there's some catalogs out front that you walk by, back in the late, after the Civil War, late 1800s, mail order catalog became a popular thing. And you could order anything, if you could imagine it, you could order. You could order dental supplies, you could order any kind of gun or ammunition. You could order a house, and the house would come on the railroad down here, the numbered parts, and there were 3 Sears Roebuck homes built in Wakesboro. And one is still standing. And
It's amazing. It's amazing.
I won't tell you where it is right there. Everybody might be able to see it. So follow me on with it to another section. This is kind of a household room here. As a little boy, I remember my grandmother having machines like this. And we went over and we played with these rockers down here, make that thing get to spinning up here, and it would mess up the machine. These were, as a matter of fact, that lady donated this machine and this quilt. And the quilt is made out of flour sacks. Oh, they had to use one of them back.
Oh, yes, yeah, they made all kinds of uses out of those, didn't
Of
they?
course, that's the big
Then
spinning
it's-
wheel there.
Oh, my.
So that was donated. That's where you keep all your buttons and needles and all this.
Right.
Again, this is, we could spend the next hour just in this room.
Right.
But someone found this wagon here and gave it to us. They bought it online. If you look kind of close, you'll see it says H.W. Little's, Wakesboro, North Carolina.
Wow, isn't that something? Isn't that something?
Those are not the original wheels for it. We don't know if that was a child's wagon that they were selling at Christmas time, or if it was an advertisement thing,
Right.
but,
Well,
we've
back
got
in
it.
the day, all of the toys probably had practical uses. They had to use them around the.
That probably is around the farm. But the different things you see up there are, used in everyday life. Back in
And
the,
and displayed so nicely. This is, I saw it a long time ago before this was put together, but it was like. Excuse me.
and our next room, this is the tool room. And again, this is the Tom Little collection here. And there are some really, I mean, again, there's no power tools in this room. Everything was hand operated.
Yes.
And all these are molding planes, so they can make that, like the molding around the roof up there. You could have, each one had a different cut, so it would be a different design.
Some interesting axes, aren't they?
Yeah, those are a lot of axes. And if you'll notice, that's somebody had to tell me this, but I didn't. They're sharp on one side, they're beveled, they're flat on one side, beveled sharp on the other side. And that's so when they were splitting logs, they would stand up on the log and split it, and they could split a board and it would peel off to the right. Because that bevel side was the sharp side, and it would cause that board to peel off. Somebody was smarter than I. Can you imagine operating one of those big saws there to cut down a tree as they did back?
It'd be a
Back
two-man
in the day.
operation, wouldn't it?
It's hard work for me to do with power chainsaw.
Yeah.
Hey, we've come a long ways, haven't we?
But again, this is most woodworking stuff in here, woodworking out of, these are various planes they use. Smooth wood, shake wood. Things are, again, most of the stuff would be around a routine farm. Back many years ago.
Nothing gas powered in here either. It was all hand powered.
I tell you what, it's a.
Well, coming into our latest room here, this, I wish we had 2 or 3 more rooms this size, so we could really put some stuff in here. So we set this room up in the last year. We received a generous donation of a collection from the Steve Leary family estate. He was an avid collector of World War I, World War II, and Civil War memorabilia, artifacts, and things. We have a lot of research books in here. We have a lot of stuff in here. That's, and I want to point out a couple of things in the displays over here. These things here are not related to what we're working on. But we have, this is kind of the Civil War corner over here. And again, all this is work under progress, or in progress. We're going to clean up this corner a little bit. It's not supposed to be here. But this is a powder container that they use to keep their gunpowder dry. And so is this one right here. There's 2. And this little model cannon here is a duplicate of what's called a Napoleon smoothbore cannon, which was very commonly used in the Civil War. We couldn't get a big one in here, so we have.
Hey, that's good replica, isn't it?
It is.
We have some Confederate money. Everybody's heard about the Confederate money. And of course, that's what the Confederates spent. But as soon as the war was over, it was not worth anything.
Worthless.
It was worthless, but it's not worthless today because it's very, I think around $100 is as cheap as you'll find one on sale anywhere for collectors.
Yes,
For collectors.
collectors.
You know, but we have some very nice pictures. Again, a lot of these pictures came from the Leavitt collection there. We're very pleased.
And the uniforms, the
Yeah,
jackets.
yeah. These actually were donated outside of that.
Or were they?
This came from Francis Lyle. This is his uniform. There he is right there, Francis Lyle. And this was from the Fred Mills Senior for this uniform. And we have several other uniforms in storage that we're going to order a couple of mannequins and put them on and hopefully have them out here sometime next year as well.
Yes.
But
Well,
we
this
got
is-
a nice donation from a little thing we applied for and grant. We're able to buy some of this displays
Display
here.
cases,
The
yes. that-
attorney, the barrister bookcases there came from the Leavitt collection. They were nice enough to donate those to us as well.
That's very
The
nice.
propeller up there came from them. And I have these older radios you see sitting around here during World War II. That's how people learned what was going on.
Exactly. That's
Newspapers,
right.
newspapers were king and radio was in its golden age back in the 30s and
Yes.
40s.
Yes, and this, I see the equipment
Yeah,
over here.
those are
for
communications equipment.
Communicating out there
So-
in the fields, yeah.
There's some pictures here that if you just kind of walk by, you think, well, those are pretty old planes there. But this one right here was a plane that was flown by Paul Tibbish. This was not the Enola Gay, but this was a plane he was flying before they called him out of service to come help design the plane, the B-29, that would carry the first atomic bomb ever dropped. But this picture was his plane when before he was doing it. That's his signature, Major Paul W. Tibbish, right there.
It is awesome.
And something that maybe if I knew it, I forgot it, Steve. Forgot a lot of stuff. But Yamamoto, Japanese imperial commander, who basically set up the bombing of Pearl Harbor, the Americans intercepted communications from the Japanese years into the war and found out what plane he was going to be on when he was going to go to the Philippines to review the troops. And they were able to intercept that plane and shot it down and kill Yamamoto in 1943. And they didn't release that information to the Americans for about 30 days. Japanese did not release that information to their country for about 6 months. So it began to leak in. So they didn't want to be a bad thing. But we were out to get their generals, and they were out to get ours too. They were looking for all of our generals, Eisenhower in particular. If they could have found him, they would have took him out. He wanted to get there.
Yeah, that's.
These pictures down here, by the way, all these pictures came from around Anson County. That actually was square of Wakesboro in 1940, just before 41, just before the start of the war. And we were able to identify some of those people walking back there as to who they were. And these were the war games they were playing, because America had sort of not been real prepared for war during the 30s after World War I. And so, but they knew it was coming. And so they were having a lot of building up of the military in the 1939, 1940 era. And were able to get it together, I guess, just in time. A couple other quick things, and a few more pictures here. Have a book that was donated to us, signed by Happy Boyington. I always have trouble pronouncing his name. If you remember the TV show Bad Bad Black Sheep Squadron, well, that was his squadron. And he was a World War II hero, shot down dozens of enemy planes. It was kind of an outlaw crowd there. They were kind of cast out some other units. They'd send them there, but he could control his men. And they were very successful.
Could get the job done, huh?
Yep. So we invite anybody to come here. Our hours for tours here are by request. So if you contact our Historical Society office, we're open uptown at the office from 9 to 1, Monday through Saturday. We have people up there, volunteers, and some paid part-time help. Let's keep the office open. If you call that number up there, which I don't know if I have here, but
We'll put it up. We'll put it on our website.
if you contact the Anson County Library, they'll.
Absolutely, yes. And we just thank you so much for giving us this tour, and we're looking forward to also touring the medical museum. We just thought, a bird's eye view to let people know what's here, and then they can schedule groups or whatever, schedule a tour to come in.
Please come on back. And,
Yes, thank
get
you.
around to the other museum, they'll be just as interesting.
Right, absolutely. Well, we're excited about
Steve and I
all
were talking earlier, and he was telling me, he said that this is the third oldest building in Anson, in that Wakesboro.
Mhm.
And number 1 and number 2 are other buildings uptown up there, the Boyington House and the Alexander Little. Well, it's Boyington House and the Alexander Little House.
Right, there's,
That's kind of order, I guess.
yes.
And
Yes.
all those were built back in the late 1700s, added to the early 1800s, so these are 200, 250-year-old.
Right, and you guys are doing such a great job of keeping everything in good shape, and this is just a great display in Carolina. We've enjoyed it.
Completely a nonprofit. You get no money from the town of Wakesboro, the Anson County government, it's all donations. Very fortunate. We have about 700 members.
Now, okay, but that's great. So
Always
growing.
looking for more.
Always looking
Yes.
for more.
Yes,
So
okay.
take that.
All right. All right, and we thank you again, and it's been a pleasure.
Well, thank y'all.
Thank
for
you.
your time. Okay.